This is a 2001 Ford Explorer Sport Trac, 2-wheel drive with a 4-liter single overhead cam. I'm going to be introducing it to a set of lower ball joints for the front end. Be both lower ball joints dry and wore out. Almost dangerous. So first thing I need to do is raise it up, take the front wheels off of it, pop this center cap off, take the lug nuts off. I'll just start off, take a wire brush to this pinch bolt, knock any crap off of it. Take some penetrating oil and spray the castling nuts for the tie rod end and the lower ball joint nut. First thing I want to do is take these 13mm out of the brake caliper. And hanging off a bungee cord or wire or whatever, just keep it off those. Take these 15mm loose that's holding the caliper hanger over the top of the rotor. Up top's kind of hidden back under the spindle. I'm going to go ahead and turn the steering wheel back to the left, full left, and take this rotor off and have a look at the tie rod end. That's nice. Remove this quarter pin, the locking ring, and the nut. I usually set them inside the grease cap, keep them from getting dirty. I would go ahead and wipe all the grease off that spindle, just so you ain't getting into it. While I'm around the front, looking the tie rod end over, I'm going to go ahead and take both quarter pins out of the lower ball joint and the tie rod end. And break this lower ball joint loose. It's a 27mm. And the tie rod end, it's a 21mm. And I'm going to go ahead and take this 5/16 out of this ABS mounting bracket for the wire. and unclip it from the frame over here. So I have plenty of slack in that ABS wire. Went ahead and took the 3 bolts out of the back brake plate dust cover so I can get full access to this tie rod in. Now to pop this lower ball joint. Because every time you hit bumps and stuff, that ball gets a run at that opening. Instead of just working inside of the opening, it gets a run at it and hammers it open slowly till the truck drops down and you lose your steering. The wheel will come out and the body will drop down on the tie rod end and or breaks something off, and it's just a bad plan all the way around. I've positioned a jack underneath of this ball joint. The nut's just below flush with the ball joint stud. I've taken the weight off of the jack stand to help facilitate this ball joint release. Since this ball joint's getting changed anyway, I'm just going to use a pickle fork and underneath of it and drive this ball joint apart while the weight of the truck's on it. So hopefully it won't take as much effort. Just make sure you got some other source holding the truck up off of you. I've got a 3.5 ton jack in the middle of the frame. In case I knock this jack stand over and this slips off, it would be a bad day. But I've got several things backing it up so it just doesn't come down and get me. Now the weight's against the back of this nut. Okay, now the lower ball joint's loose. Now to go back up to the upper control arm and loosen the pinch bolt holding it to the spindle on the upper ball joint. It's a 15mm nut and it has a 15mm head on it. Let's zap it loose. Okay, I've zapped the nut back. Keep that nut with this bolt. Let's push it on out. Might work the control arm up and down with a bar or something if the bolt's really stuck in there. Try to get it moving. Once that bolt comes out of there, this upper ball joint will pop out and the spindle will want to drop, so just keep in mind. And the top one didn't check for any slack. It didn't seem too bad. Now to few threads on the lower ball joint nuts holding it on. Go ahead and spray some penetrating oil on this ball joint clip and just around it in general. Let it soak a little bit while you're fooling with the spindle. Once you take your nut off your spindle, keep a hold of it. And you can set it down here somewhere. Just watch your ABS wires that don't. If you unhooked it out of these, it's got enough room to reach the ground depending on how high the vehicle's off the ground. Might take another one out. I'll probably throw a fastener up on the frame to keep it upright. And there's a big hole now in the truck. That's nice. Full of rust, metal pieces. Nice. You need to take a pair of snap ring pliers and open this clip up. Get it off this ball joint. Next, you're going to need a ball joint press. Big C clamp. Be able to press this out of here. Go ahead and take this grease fitting off too. Snap ring pliers have the little points on the end of it. And that is a fairly complete set of ball joint removing tools. Kind of gives you an idea how big that is. That's how it's going to set in there first time around. Like that. Yep. I'm going to wipe this hole off, spray it down with some brake cleaner and get all the debris out of it, then re-lubricate it. Check this ball joint hole for any inconsistencies. The ball joint should have put up a decent fight coming out. If it just fell out, need to replace the control arm more than likely. But it should be similar in design all the way around it. No irregularities. It should be circular and apparently ribbed.